Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. Today we are doing our local to global series and we are well in now to January of 2002. We of course booked this event. I say we're well into January 2002. We're only well into January 2002 because I missed a date and therefore we had to rearrange this show Ascension for the third week in January, which is different for us. But anyway, now I've got past that nonsense. It's time for us to get into this show. Before I do that, though, I am going to change something about the main event. So I didn't want this to be quite as straightforward, I've decided, as I originally had it. So instead, we're going to have Shawn Stasiak win, but not win the title. He's going to win by DQ finish, and we've got to add the cheap finish thing to ensure the title doesn't change hands. And what's going to happen here is that Stasiak's going to win by DQ when CM Punk hits him with a steel chair that Stasiak himself brings into the contest, and therefore Stasiak gets the win, but obviously doesn't win the championship. So not this has let me speak again. This hasn't happened very much in the past in our save. We haven't done many of these where the champion loses but holds onto the title. We've done it I think once or twice before, but not too many times. But we are doing it on this occasion. It's CM Punk versus Shawn Stasiak in the main event. Everything else has already been set up and is ready to go. Before we get into it, I thought I'd give you a view of the current list of rankings right now. So you have CM Punk obviously as champion. Shawn Stasiak is the number one contender, and that's why he's facing Punk at this show. We've got Billy Kidman then on 11 points. C.W. Anderson is up to third now with 8 points. Batista on 7. T.J. Wilson and Charlie Haas both on 6. Chris Harris, Teddy Hart, and Kimo all on 5, along with Brock Lesnar, though Brock Lesnar remains injured and out of action at this point in time. Rex King and Barry Buchanan both have 4 points. Darren Drozdov, Phantasma, One Man Gang, Chaz Warrington all have 3. Glenn Ruth and Ace still have 2, and Mark Henry just the 1. Buddy Wayne, bottom of the rankings with 0 points, having lost his title match at Seasons Beatings. You'll notice, however, that Batista has now had 91 matches in his Random Wrestling Review career, and so will presumably be the first to make 100 matches. The closest to him is Ace Steel with 84. So let's do this show then, as promised. And in front of 300 people, another sellout at the Marshall Center. We have a segment rating here of 45 as Mark Henry and Darren Drozdov, teaming together in a strange teaming, defeat Dave Batista and Buddy Wayne, another irregular tag team, in 12 minutes and 21 when Mark Henry pins Buddy Wayne after using a foreign object. Darren Drozdov, the weak link, did a 28 in-ring performance. Still not bad. I'm not unhappy with the progress that Drozdov has made thus far in the save. Everybody else around 42 or 44. Segment rating though 45 is a pretty good way to start this event. Then we have Chris Harris defeating Chaz Warrington in 7:35 by pinfall with a segment rating of 43. Chris Harris gets another win against, another lesser opponent. We've been giving Harris a good number of wins as of late, and he gets the win here. An in-ring performance of 49 from him, Chaz Warrington of 29, and another decent contest. So next up we get Chris Harris, and he's talking about the fact that he is done with the Harts and their games. This is obviously following the fact that Bruce Hart has left the company, or at least left the company from a on-air or on-screen or on stage, whatever you want to call it, in-ring perspective. Bruce Hart is no longer the public face of the Random Wrestling Review. Chris Harris said he's done with the Harts and their games. He's all about himself from now on, and he's going to take back the RWR Northwest Championship. So segment rating here of 43, with Chris Harris looking a real star in this segment, and very much looking forward to seeing where this goes. And I've got to be honest, no clue where this is going to go. I don't have any solid plans for Chris Harris at this point in time, but I am looking forward to finding out where this takes us from now on. Next is a continuation of the feud between the two Rebellion factions, Ace Steel versus Rex King, a segment rating of 42 with Ace Steel coming out on top in 13 minutes and 7 seconds by pinfall. Ace Steel did an in-ring performance of 44, Rex King of 38. This may be mildly suffered due to the fact that Rex King needed to be protected, or at least kept strong during this contest, but Ace Steel gets the win as the Rebellion versus Rebellion story continues. And it will continue in the next match as well. Tag team titles on the line. Red Alert against Billy Kidman and Barry Buchanan. And the Red Alert get their victory in 14 minutes and 6 seconds when C.W. Anderson pins Barry Buchanan following interference from Phantasma of the old alliance, not the new alliance. And Red Alert make their first defense of their third reign as Northwest Tag Team Champions in a segment rating of 50. Very, very good. Billy Kidman did a 46, Charlie Haas a 48. They were the highlights, but Red Alert keep their title against the team that beat them for it not too long ago. So this felt like a match that had to happen to give Red Alert some credibility in their third title reign, and so Red Alert get the victory here. Segment rating of 50 with Phantasma helping them to victory as the feud between the two rebellion factions continues. Before the main event, Mark Henry comes out with Shawn Stasiak, but Sharmell Sullivan cuts him off and tells him that he is banned from ringside for tonight's main event. She said that 2 weeks ago at the New Year Bash, she promised to bring fairness and fair play back to the Random Wrestling Revue after after nearly a year of Bruce Hart trying to influence the results of matches. In fact, more than a year of Bruce Hart trying to influence the results of matches, trying to make things happen that saw him become less objective than he'd previously been. This got a 7 rating of 35, but Sharmell Sullivan, ultimately the purpose of this was to get Mark Henry away from the ring for the main event, which was CM Punk versus Shawn Stasiak, a 55 rated match. I knew this was going to be good. Not quite the best in company history, but Shawn Stasiak has won by pinfall here. Again, that's a mistake. Now, he hasn't been crowned champion. I don't know what the game is playing at. Maybe I didn't put the right thing in. I think I may have left the pinfall note in there. We're going to pretend this was by DQ because obviously Stasiak hasn't won the title, right? So what actually took place in this match is Shawn Stasiak wins by DQ when CM Punk hits him with a chair in front of the referee that Stasiak brought into the ring in the first place after the referee had gone down. So CM Punk does an in-ring performance of 52, Shawn Stasiak of 47. Punk retains the title somehow, where I don't know what the game is going to do to justify this. It doesn't even look like the title, they consider the title to be on the line. We'll find out afterwards. It's a bit of a disaster in terms of the game mechanics. Hopefully they're not switching. I don't know. We'll see what happens straight after this. So actually a very good show, a 52 overall rating. Just that big mistake in the main event that was made by my own booking. I put in, thankfully, the cheap finish note, but I didn't remove the pinfall note, I think. I think that's what's happened here. And the game didn't know where to go in terms of the road agent notes, and so did a strange pinfall finish where the Stasiak didn't win the title. So what we're going to say, as I said, is that the finish that we always said actually happened, which is Stasiak won by DQ when Punk hit him with a steel chair that Stasiak had brought into the ring in the first place. So Punk gets DQ, doesn't lose the title, but Stasiak doesn't lose the match. Pretty good show, though, overall. We'll give CM Punk and Shawn Stasiak credit for their performances in this one because both did indeed perform very, very well. And I think also, looking down this list of wrestlers, I mean, Chris Harris was very good, right? So I think he deserves a compliment as well. And that is Ascension, I feel like it's a little bit of a disaster now. We'll see. Maybe it's not a disaster. Let's have a look at titles, I think is the key here. Does it count that as a title defense? Seems to have done. 6 title defenses. Shawn Stasiak defeated CM Punk, but we still have CM Punk as champion. So the game itself doesn't know what the hell to do with that, I think. So we're just saying Shawn Stasiak won by DQ, and that's why he's not the champion. Punk retains the belt, his 6th defense of the title there, but again, bit of I keep saying it, but a bit of a disaster just in terms of the way it kind of turned out. Nevertheless, we will plow on with what we're doing. Let's just have a look at this. Top 100 events. Ascension is 3rd best event of all time. So a good start to the year in 2002. In terms of matches, that is now the 4th best match in company history. A 55 rated contest between Stasiak and CM Punk. And that is the way that show ends. Now, we've got Fighting Spirit 5 in 20 days, but we're going to put on another show before that because, well, we're supposed to have two shows in a month, and that was our first January show. So we're going to add a new event here. I'm not sure what to call this, but we're going to once again refer to the list of names that I came up with, or sorry, I generated having run a quick ChatGPT query to give us some names, and they gave us quite a lot of odd ones. I think we're just going to call this Reckoning. This is another one it came up with. A lot of the names it gave me were one word names, and the ones that are not one word are a bit rubbish. So we'll go with this for now. We may need to do another generation of those names in the not too distant future. I think Monday week 4 will work. Let's just check. Yeah, Monday week 4, which has been our traditional slot. So we're going to book that in now, and yeah, it's now in the right place. So that will be our next show in just 6 days' time. We're going to have another show in this company, and anything going on in the world doesn't look like it. How's the finances? Pretty good at the moment, although of course we've still got the big production costs to come. So let's move on to the next player controlled show, which is in 6 days' time. In fact, I need to stop the game. I need to stop the game from progressing, and I may even I've tried too hard to get it to stop, and it's now got into this sort of mid state between working and not working. Because actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to hire a couple of wrestlers. I completely forgot I was going to do this. But we are going to take the plunge and bring in some women to the company. And that is because I figured this is a new age for the Random Wrestling Revue. We have a new head of the company, new general manager, Sharmell. And she is going to try and put her own print on the new Random Wrestling Revue. And as part of that, she's going to want to bring in, she's going to bring in a new concept for Random Wrestling Revue, which is women's wrestling. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do here. I mean, Mickie James seems like the obvious one to bring in at this point, I think. And we probably need an updated picture for Mickie James. I don't think there is much in this game of an updated picture for her. Tempted to bring her in. There was somebody else I thought we could bring in, but we cannot. So I'm going to look at the other ones. Candice LeRae is available, a 16-year-old. I don't think we need to. I think that's a bit early for her. So it feels like Mickie James and Tylene Buck are going to be our two wrestlers. I mean, Tylene Buck's $30 per show. So in fact, she's not a wrestler. So maybe is she retired? I thought she was a wrestler at one point. In fact, it says I've asked for active wrestlers, haven't I, in this search, and yet she's coming up as an active wrestler, which is weird. Shouldn't be the case, right? Because she's not. It shows here she's not a wrestler. Yamada 700, Jillian Hall 250. I mean, it might have to be Jillian Hall. I'm not so sure about this now. I did have two people in mind for this. One of them's not here though, and I'm wondering whether or not she's no longer available. I can't even remember what her name was, to be perfectly honest, but she was there when I last looked at this. Just checking I haven't added any kind of filters here that are unnecessary, but it doesn't appear like I have. So these are our choices. Well, Mickie James, if we're going to do it, Mickie James is only an occasional wrestler. I mean, what's that about? Like, she's not an occasional wrestler. She's not. She never was. She still arguably is now, I guess, an occasional wrestler in 2026. But she still would have a match or two, I think, now. But she wasn't an occasional wrestler at this point. And I may have to change that in the editor if I can, because I feel like that's a mistake. Jillian Hall is already working, which is why she's quite expensive. And Candice LeRae's just 16. I mean, I'm going to have to go with Jillian Hall. Already, this is not turning out the way I wanted it to for the women. But there you go. Jillian Hall and Mickie James are in. As I said, I'm going to need to change that picture for Mickie James, I think, when we get an opportunity in the next episode. And I'm going to have to change Mickie James to a full-time wrestler if I can in the editor. Actually, let's see if we can do that now, because she should be she will be here. So can we do it? I don't even know if we can do it in we're done. I made a mistake there. Pressed the wrong button again. So Mickie James, just have a look and see. Yeah, so we can change it to wrestler as well. So that's good. So Mickey James will be a wrestler when she comes in. I just wanted to show you that on screen because that's the kind of thing I do. If I do anything in the editor, it's that kind of thing. And if I ever do anything in the editor, as you found out very early in this save, I will show you it on screen to show where I am kind of. You could argue cheating, but I guess it's not really cheating. Anyway, we're going to wait for these two to get signed up, but they will be coming in for a woman versus woman match. I've just got to make a decision about whether or not it's going to be for a title, whether we're going to crown one of these our first women's champion, because that makes sense to do so, but it's just whether or not that's where we want to go, because the minute we crown a champion, we'll kind of be on the hook for actually having that champion defend the title. And as you saw from that list, our options as regards to women's wrestlers and availability of women's wrestlers is very, very low, to the point where I'm still tempted not to do that, if I'm honest. But we are seemingly going with it for the moment. Does Gillian Hall signed up? Shawn Stasiak's walked out on a BCW, and we've also got problems here because our Mickey James bid has ended, so everything's going wrong. So Shawn Stasiak apparently walked out of BCW. I mean, that's fine, that's not a problem. And Mickey James has signed an exclusive deal with USWA, so that our attempts to bring Mickey James in have gone by the wayside. And what's more is we've signed Gillian Hall. So Gillian Hall's in, but Mickey James is not. We've now got these choices. Plus, I don't think they'll be ready by the time that this show's going to be put on. I mean, it's on tomorrow. We can change it because actually Gillian Hall was not available on Sunday week 4. I was just about to say we can change it to Sunday week 4, and she's not available then, when that was the next gap in our schedule. So we might have to sign Candice LeRae, even though she's only 16. That was not my ideal situation here. I mean, I think I'll leave it for now, given that's gone for Burton, right? We're not going to have a women's match on this next show, which means I've got to come up with something else for the next show, because that was going to be one of the key kind of curiosities, I guess, for our next show. Whatever it's called. What is it called? Reckoning. I'm all over the place now thanks to that. So we've got to figure out. Well, we'll just figure it out on the fly, I think. So let's move on to the event. We're obviously not going to debut Gillian Hall at this show. We will, I guess, put her in a match for one of the February shows. I haven't got any clue what we're going to do with that. Let's have a look at this then. The Royal Rumble 2002 took place. Shawn Michaels defeated Brian Pillman to retain the World Heavyweight title in a 97 rated match, and The Undertaker won a 30 wrestler battle royal to win the Royal Rumble in an 82 rated match. There's also Dean Douglas winning the Intercontinental title over Jeff Jarrett in an 87 rated match, but I would say this is a step down on their usual quality. And the fact that Shawn Michaels and Brian Pillman only did a 97, I say only 97, obviously that's still very good, but all of the top tier wrestlers have been putting on 97, 98 and 99 style matches, and these two, it feels like, should have done a 99 rated match. So I don't know, maybe a slight sense that the WWF is on the starting to lose some of its quality. I don't know, we'll find out, I guess, in the future. So financially, 7,000 in profit. We're due to lose 5,000 still in production, I think, and we're going to lose some. We're going to obviously spend more money on workers, but we should also get some ticket sales from our next event. Interesting that our ticket sales, maybe the game has automatically increased the price of our tickets, because I didn't up the price, but the ticket sales there obviously are 300 more than they were in December, and we only did one event in December, so I'm wondering whether that is also a thing. Plenty to look at in terms of finances when we get there. Gillian Hall, I'm not even going to touch Gillian Hall yet, because I don't know what we're going to do with that, whether we're even going to have a women's division now, given that there are literally 3 or 4 wrestlers available. They're all pretty expensive. We haven't got the money for those extravagances. So Yeah, this is all over them, all over the place for this show. Now, the advertised main event is a Falls Count Anywhere contest between Ace Steel and Chemo against Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman. These two teams obviously went to a double count out the last time they faced each other, when the match kind of just went, just broke down. But we are going to have another big match, and it's going to start with Shawn Stasiak coming out and demanding a rematch. Demands a rematch for the title. Punk comes out and agrees he should have it. They both call on Sharmell ultimately to book a rematch between the two. Another thing I didn't do, which I was meant to do, and this is the problem, I'm just not thinking very straight during this recording, is add CM Punk to this storyline, because obviously this is going for more than one show. It happened last time and it's now happening again, so I should have added him already, but we're putting him in there anyway for the moment. I think I'll call this for the moment Shawn Stasiak versus CM Punk, but it may evolve again in the future. So in response to that, Sharmell is going to come out and tell CM Punk and Shawn Stasiak that she will grant them a rematch, but Dave Bautista is going to serve as the special guest referee. So Sullivan agrees to the rematch tonight, but with special ref Dave Bautista. And she's going to explain that basically Dave Bautista is the one person that she thinks can keep this match ordered, given what happened the previous month with the problems that occurred when Shawn Stasiak brought a chair into the ring and the referee got knocked down, and then Punk hit Stasiak with it. Stasiak hit Punk with it, and then later on Punk hit Stasiak with it, but this time the referee saw it and disqualified CM Punk. So instead we're giving Chris Harris some regulation victories. He gets another one at this show. Don't think we need to make this very long. Chris Harris the winner. Decisive win. Not the best thing for TJ Wilson, but he's losing this contest. Then we were going to have the women's match, which I'm now completely unsure about what to do with, because we're not having it, and we've got a missing segment on my list of things. But we are going to have Sharmell again out in front of the crowd, and she is going to ban Phantasma and Rex King from ringside for the Falls Count Anywhere tag team match. So Sharmell bans Phantasma and Rex King from ringside for next match. And this is all part again of Sharmell Sullivan's attempts to, if I'll make it 3 minutes, attempts to make the Random Wrestling Revue a fairer place. I feel like we're in a little bit of a mode of chaos at the moment, just because of what happened there with the match that we couldn't do, and in terms of just generally trying to sign those two women, the changes to the main event of the last show that I put in place, which were kind of last minute, and then also just some of the booking in general, things I'm forgetting to do more than anything else. So anyway, this is the 2 versus 2 Falls Count. Do we have a 2 versus 2 Falls Count Anywhere match in our list of matches? We do want to at least make it official. We do not have a Falls Count Anywhere match. I guess we could just it's just a tornado match, right? Really. Although they're all supposed to be in the ring at the same time, but I think that's okay. So 2 versus 2 tornado. That's what we'll call it. It's just a mad match basically. The winner is going to be. Oh, we haven't added anyone to it yet, so we can't add any rotation notes. See what I mean? I'm all over the place today. Ace Steel and Chemo, against Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman in this tag team contest. And the winner is going to be... Who's it going to be? It's going to be Billy Kidman. He's going to pin Ace Steel. And there is going to be outside interference, but it's not from Rex King. On this occasion, it's going to be the one-man gang. So one-man gang interferes on behalf of Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman and help them win the match. After the contest, one-man gang, what can he do that will make this not just nothing? I guess he can... No, there's nothing here, is there? This is a star quality. I think that makes sense. One-man gang raises the arms of Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman. Buchanan and Kidman following their win. So that doesn't need to be long. 2 minutes will do that one. But anyway, one-man gang comes in, helps Ace Steel and Chemo to win the match. That's all wrong, isn't it? No, it's not. Ace Steel and Chemo. Helps Barry Buchanan and Billy Kidman. I cannot get my head around this because I'm just so used to Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan being together in a tag team that I just cannot get my head around this one. Anyway, one-man gang raises the hands of Buchanan and Kidman following their win. We then do have one more match before our main event, which is Buddy Wayne against Darren Drozdov in another match in their feud. I think we'll keep this reasonably short, and I think we'll have Drozdov win this one. Tainted win. Pinfall finish for that one. And really just to balance things out a little bit to enable this feud to carry on for a bit longer, because obviously Buddy Wayne won the last match between the two. And also really it's become filler for this show because, you know, we need to be able to fill this show up now with a lot less than we had going into it. The main event will be the rematch for the Northwest title. This time Punk is going to get the win. But we have got the special referee. Hang on. Let's bring in the special referee for this one. So Dave Batista involved. And is there anything down here that we can do? I know what I want to do, and it's not a turn or anything, but I just want to make sure that... So we can, I think we can do a ref bunk, can't we? Somewhere down here. Do we do a screwy referee finish? I think we will. Well, I can't see anything down there, but that's fine. What we're going to do here is basically have Batista get into an argument with both Punk and Shawn Stasiak during the course of the match. But before we go any further, we need to have a match of storytelling, don't we? Let's make it that one. That's got to be that one. Well, we're at a point where we're not going to get this show done today. So that's the second time in a row where we've got to the end of the booking of the event and then not been able to bring you the event. So I apologise for that. And I apologise also to you for the general lack of quality today. I feel like I've not done very well on this episode. Made mistakes when I'm actually booking the game to do what it needs to do. I've not been the best at explaining what I'm talking about. I've been shifting my focus mid-sentence a number of times. But effectively, what's going to happen in that main event, just to give you the lowdown on that before I leave you today, is that both Punk and Stasiak at different times in the match are going to get into arguments with Batista over fast counts or over hair pulls or over whatever. Batista not getting out of the way when Punk's trying to unload on Stasiak, whatever. And that during the course of that, Batista is going to get more and more frustrated, and then he's going to have a little bit of a push war with Stasiak at a certain point, and Punk is going to do, in fact, we'll have a roll-up finish for this, not a pinfall finish. We'll have a flash pinfall finish where Punk gets the victory after Batista shoves Stasiak and then also maybe does a fast count too. So it's going to be Punk versus Stasiak in our main event again for the Northwest title. We leave you in effectively the same place as I left you last time, just a week later with the same main event. But we will be back and we'll bring you that in the next episode. And when we bring you that, hopefully I will be in a better form than I've been today. If by some miracle you've enjoyed what I brought you today, then please hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I'll catch you next time.